Okay, let's see. Where's Kim? Okay, we're going to get started. Judge Canales will be out momentarily. My name is Peter Zanoni. I'm city manager of the city of Corpus Christi, and this is our daily public health briefing. It's a joint briefing between the city and the county to help inform the public on our COVID-19 situation, to include cases, updates to city operations and county operations, as well as advice on how to stay safe and save lives. So today we just have a couple of things. I will be giving an update on the statistics, the number of new confirmed cases in the county of Nueces, and talk to you about tomorrow's public health testing drive-through operation that will take place. Both Mayor McComb and County Judge Barbara Canales will talk about closures planned and that will be put into place for this Easter weekend. We're going to announce, and we appreciate you all and the public getting the word out, that the city will be, just for the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, closing a series of city and county parks, as well as vehicular access to the beach in Nueces County, and as well as in the city of Corpus Christi. And we also have partnership actions for additional beach closures along the coastline, to include the Padre Island National Seashore and from Judge Madrid in Clayburgh County. So with that, let me begin with the daily update and the statistics. So we report out to the community as of a point in time, 4 o'clock every day. And since yesterday at 4, we have 4 additional confirmed cases in Nueces County for those that have tested positive for COVID-19. So that brings our daily total from what was 65 to 69 confirmed cases. The 4 new cases, 3 are from within the city of Corpus Christi, and 1 is from rural unincorporated Nueces County. So a total of 4 additional for a total of 69. When we look at the total of all the 69 cases, 1 is from Robstown, 4 are from Port Aransas, 3 are from rural Nueces County, and then 61 are from within the city of Corpus Christi. We're glad to report there are still no deaths in Nueces County as a result of COVID-19. And the male-female distribution of those who have the case, there's a few more males than in the last couple of days. So we have 36 male and 33 female folks that have the COVID-19 virus. Our age distribution, we've been showing the community this over 9 different age brackets, everywhere from 0 years, from infancy to 90 plus years old. And the distribution is somewhat consistent now across those age groups, with the exception of the 0 to 19 year age group and the 80 to 89 year age group. All those others in between, though, there's a pretty equitable or equal split of those that have the virus. On the testing side, the number of tests performed at city, county health labs or private labs here in Nueces County, we have a total of 825 tests that have been performed. That's up from 818 on yesterday's report. And that concludes the daily briefing on statistics. I did want to remind you, before I turn it over to the judge and the mayor, that tomorrow we'll be having another drive-through testing operation at the former Memorial Hospital parking lot. This is where we have been conducting tests through the health district. So once somebody is screened and is a candidate for testing, they get orders to go through that drive-through testing site. That will take place again tomorrow, and at 8 a.m. that'll begin. We want to remind people, if you feel sick or if you have questions on COVID-19, to call our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week hotline, the City County Health District hotline, and that number is 826-7200. So 826-7200 if you have questions. That number will give you access to health professionals. They'll help you get pre-screened if you want to get tested through the city-county testing site. And as a reminder, one can still check with their doctor if they want private testing. That does take, there is a fee for the private sector testing, but there's still that option. But I would start by calling the 826-7200 number is the recommended first step action. We want to remind people finally to continue those orders that have been put in place everywhere from the presidents all the way down to the mayor and the judge, and that is stay at home if you're non-essential. If you're non-essential in terms of the economy, stay at home. Stay if you are out for some reason, maybe buying groceries or prescription drugs. Social distance, keep that 6 feet apart from the next person that may be next to you. Wear a mask if you feel you want to do that. That'll, as studies show, and nationally and internationally, in fact, there's evidence that wearing a mask helps protect from the spread of COVID-19. And wash your hands thoroughly and frequently, and don't touch your face with dirty hands. So keep your hands off your face, off your eyes and nose and ears especially, and wash them. And finally, if you feel like you're sick, whether that's a headache or some type of a fever coming on, stay at home. Don't go to work. Don't go to the grocery store. Don't go out. This can be beat by not spreading the virus to others. We are working with Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and we're beyond grateful and thankful for the professors and scientists who are helping us with a curve for the 12-county region in our coastal Bend area. And we'll be having that on Friday. We'll be releasing that to the public on Friday with Texas A&M University professionals. And that's going to show the community that the social distancing and other orders that we have been talking about, the ones I just talked about, of staying at home, keeping 6 feet, washing your hands, they make a difference. And you'll see that on the curves. We're going to be able to show you what the number of infection rate would have looked like had we not put these into place. We're going to show you what happens if you take them out of practice too soon. And we're going to show you what happens to death rates and hospitalization rates. So from using global studies, global modeling, we can bring it home right here to our county and city. And we'll be able to show, the professionals actually will show that what we're telling you matters, and that to adhere to these things matter. And so that'll be Friday. We'll be announcing a special time for a press event on Friday. And that'll be hosted by the city and the county, but Texas A&M University professionals will be leading the dialogue. Okay, so with that, we're going to have Mayor McComb and County Judge Barbara Canales both come up and talk about the Easter weekend closures.
En resumen, actualmente en el condado de Nueces existen 69 casos confirmados por el coronavirus. Entre esos, 36 son varones y 33 mujeres. La gran mayoría se encuentran entre el rango de edades de 40 a 49 años. En total, se han llevado a cabo 825 tomas de muestras entre laboratorios privados y el laboratorio del Distrito de Salud. El día de mañana se va a llevar a cabo otra toma de muestras solo para aquellas personas que cuentan con cita. Si tiene preguntas o cree estar enfermo, llame al 826-7200 para hablar con un experto y determinar si califica para la prueba del COVID-19. Les recordamos a los residentes quedarse en casa y si sale, continúe practicando el distanciamiento social y utilice un tapabocas. Recuerde lavar sus manos seguido y evite tocar su cara. Si se siente enfermo, quédese en casa. Continuamos trabajando con la Universidad Texas A&M Corpus Christi, que nos va a entregar un modelo con información sobre las medidas que se han tomado para evitar los contagios. Ese modelo lo vamos a presentar el día viernes.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're here today to continue our effort to keep people safe and healthy. And as we anticipate with some degree of excitement the Easter weekend, we realize that that's a big time for families and celebrations, and we want those families and celebrations to be healthy and fun for everybody before the weekend and after the weekend. And so we're taking some steps to try to maximize the ability of people to stay safe and healthy. And so these are some steps that we're taking at the city, and then the county judge will come up and discuss some things on a countywide basis. But the number one goal here is people's health and their safety. This is the first holiday that we've had in this pandemic, and it's a new experience for all of us. And so we're asking the community to join with us and go through this holiday together, and we'll come out on the other side a lot better if we do work and cooperate together. But this is the first time that we've had an episode like this. And the other reason that we're making these changes and rules and regulations change for the weekend is that we don't want people that want to come to Corpus Christi from surrounding communities to travel all the way down here and have a terrible time because they either get sick or they go home and get sick. And also, we don't want them, if they happen to be a carrier, to be coming down and bringing it to Corpus Christi. So it's a win-win both ways if we can contain it here and not allow more in, and also to not affect people coming in and then they go back and expand in their communities. So we're trying to look out for both sides, and we just think it's real good. And I think all of us have known that if you let your guard down sometimes and you just kind of take things for granted and don't pay attention, some negative things can happen. And we've seen stories of families that have gotten together and tried to celebrate, and one of them has gotten sick, and that whatever they were celebrating, it wasn't worth the price after that person got sick, and in some have resulted in death. So we're being very cognizant of what we're doing. It's a holiday time, but at the same time, your safety and your health is the important thing. And on the bright side, I think this gives us an opportunity. If you think about all the holidays we have throughout the year, many times the holidays, they get a mention, and then we focus on entertaining ourselves and doing other things, and we really lose the meaning and the focus of what the holiday is all about. And I think this will give us a good time as a family to reflect on what the Easter holiday is about, what it means to individuals, and what it means to this country, and what it means to the world. And so this may be just a real opportunity for people to focus back on the real meaning of this holiday and other holidays as we approach them throughout the coming year. On the order, this is a Easter weekend enhancement of the Second Amendment order to stay at home. And let me just read you what it is, and then I'll go into some of the detail. And what the changes that we're making today will be effective from 6 a.m. April the 10th, which is Friday, I believe. Is that right? April the 10th is Friday. 6 a.m. Friday until 6 a.m. Monday morning, April the 13th. So it doesn't encompass the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the major change is on the second, in number 2 on the original order, in the amended orders, under definitions in paragraph 3. This is the additions that we're putting into effect now. Beaches and parks and portions thereof with vehicular access points will be closed to the extent directed by barriers and signs placed at the vehicular access point. In other words, going out to the beach and things, we're trying to keep we're going to be keeping the vehicles off of the beach, and the reason for that is that when vehicles get on the beach, then crowds start to gather, and the whole purpose is to keep crowd gathering to a minimum. And so that is the purpose of that change in our order in terms of the order to stay home. Now, in the city of Corpus Christi, just as an administrative facility that the city manager is authorized to do through his position as a city manager, the city will be beginning effective Friday, April the 10th through Sunday, April the 12th, and reopen on Monday morning. The following parks will be closed: Bill Witt Park, West Guth Park, Manuel A. Salinas Park, the Water's Edge Park, Cole Park, Labonte Park, Lakeview Park, Parker Park. The beaches, the Bay Beaches, McGee Beach and North Beach. The City Gulf Beaches, Access Road 2, Beach Marker 62, Newport Pass Road, Zahn Road, Packery Channel Boat Ramp, Access Road 3, Windward Parking Lot, and Whitecap Boulevard. And gates and barriers will be used to close off these parks and not allow vehicular access. And these parks will have enforcement officers out there and be monitoring the locations. And again, it's to try to protect crowds from gathering over the number of 10 that we're shooting for. So we ask for your participation and your support. This is not an easy thing for us to do. It's not a fun thing to do, but when I've been told all of my life, there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. And we think this is right for the public safety and health. And so we're doing this, and we're doing it just for a very brief time. But again, it's all for the purpose of keeping people safe through the holiday and something that they can enjoy and be a little creative. I noticed last night my wife and I went to get a takeout dinner, and we got out there, and that big, huge moon, there's going to be a full moon here the next 2 or 3 nights. Get your grill out and get your chair out in the backyard and cook some hamburgers and watch the moon or look at the moon and just enjoy the outdoors just right there with your family at home. But we want to wish everyone a very happy Easter and a very safe Easter. And then if you'll follow the rules, we would appreciate that very much. And I'll ask the judge to come up and go into what she's recommending or it would be recommending and saying this is what the rule is. I've lost my word. But anyway, amending her rules for the same period of time. So, Judge.
En resumen, en cumplimiento con las pautas estatales y locales de quedarse en casa y para mantener un ambiente seguro para los residentes y visitantes, la ciudad de Corpus Christi cerrará temporalmente el tráfico vehicular a los siguientes parques: Billwood Park, Westwood Park, Manuel Salinas Park, The Water's Edge, Cole Park, Labonte Park, Lakeview Park y Parker Park. Asimismo, van a haber varias entradas a las playas, las cuales también van a estar cerradas al tráfico vehicular. Entre estas, McGee Beach, North Beach, los accesos de la playa 2, 3 hasta el 6, Newport Pass, la rampa de botes, Zan Road, Windward Parking Lot, Whitecap Beach, Bob Hall Pier y el camino rural número 6. Le pedimos su participación al momento en que tenemos que hacer estas restricciones, pero es para mantener y mejorar la salud de nuestros residentes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I also have orders to share with all of you at home. And let me go through the order first, and then let me provide some background and some explanation. You've just heard from the mayor of the city of Corpus Christi about certain park closures and certain beach closures. And these orders that I'm about to give will apply to the entire breadth of Nueces County. So my orders are labeled Easter Weekend Enhancement of the First Amended Order to Stay at Home. They will be posted on our nuecesco.com website, and I will be taking calls tomorrow at 414-6000. And these orders will be effective at 6 a.m. April 10th, that's Friday, and they will end, let me repeat, they will end on Monday, almost at sunrise, 6 a.m., which is April 13th. If you've been following the orders, they're identical to the previous orders, with the major change coming in number 2, paragraph A, beaches and parks and portions thereof with vehicular access points will be closed to the extent directed by barricades and signs placed at the vehicular access points. So, just as the mayor articulated, county parks will follow suit. Let me also tell you that while I have not seen a written order, it is my understanding that Padre Island National Seashore will also be announcing closure. In addition, I've had the opportunity to provide notice to our entire legislative delegation and also to our commissioners. In addition, I've made calls so I could make certain that a copy of my orders were with the General Land Office. As you know, they govern our beaches and our waters to a certain distance. And I think it's really important that you know that when we make these unbelievably difficult decisions that's in the best interest of public health and safety, that we're not doing it alone in a room with no advice. In fact, just to the contrary, we are seeking input And so when there is an opportunity to look for guidance, we do so. The guidance that we were given by the General Land Office is that these are decisions that should be made at the local level, and that these are decisions that, when made at the local level, should be in the interest of public health and safety. And certainly, this virus, this COVID-19, this insidious disease that's plaguing our country is certainly falls within those parameters. And so I believe that as we approach this holiday weekend, I too want to tell everybody that I believe that that these orders for the short time of this weekend are really in the spirit of making sure we can control crowds. And let's face it, guys, we live in a beautiful area, don't we? We have amazing beaches. We have just incredible scenery to enjoy. And so our home is also enjoyed by many, many Texans who have second homes here, who absolutely love to come to the coast. And I'm certain that they will miss this Easter weekend terribly. But because almost everybody is under the same types of orders, I think it's imperative that we do everything we can to control crowds, to control out-of-town visitors to our beaches. And so I believe from the shores of Clayburgh to the shores of Nueces, all the way and including Port Aransas, these beach closures are in our best interest for this weekend. And then we can go back to enjoying our walks and our runs and our surfing and all of the wonderful activities that are leisure activities that are good for us. They're very good for our overall health and well-being on Monday. And so as a highlight, I just want to once again reiterate the county parks will be closed. Our beaches, Padre Island National Seashore, which is a federal beach, is closed. Mustang Island State Park, a state beach, is closed. Our governor did that yesterday. And our Nueces County beaches will be closed to vehicular traffic. And again, April 6th through Monday, April 18th. And once again, we have received the direction from the GLO that authorized the counties to do so. So the authority is not only based upon local government code, but it's also based upon consultation with the governor, with the General Land Office. I think that it's important to understand that some of the other things that we've been talking about should not be forgotten this weekend. I think it's really going to be important that if you're out in public, follow the CDC guidelines of recommending masks. Make sure your social distancing is absolutely being utilized. Make sure that you're not having any social gatherings unless they're with your household or with your living unit. More importantly, let's not congregate in any of the areas that you would normally absolutely love to congregate in for Easter. Our beaches cannot become a place where these social gatherings occurred. Let me remind you that we do not have the types of resources to enforce these types of public gatherings, and that is why it's the best decision for our community. I know you want us to help make those best decisions so that we can guide, give good guidance, good advice, good counsel, and that's what the spirit of these orders are. I think that one of the things that I'd like to mention is that we've talked about this over and over, but how much we appreciate at the county working with our city partners, having the mayor to be able to, and not just the mayor of Corpus Christi, but the mayors of all the towns inside Nueces County, and using regional cooperation with judges so that we can be consistent. You want to know that these orders are applied consistently so that you can have certainty as to what you can and what you can't do. And again, my hope is on Monday morning when the sun rises, take that walk on the beautiful beach and make certain that you appreciate everything that we have here in this county. It is a very special week, very special weekend, not only for members of the Christian faith, but for also one of the most sacred Jewish holidays. And I would be remiss if I would miss the opportunity to say that I've been in touch with Rabbi Emmanuel today, and he gave such beautiful words of comfort, not only to me personally, but to share with our audience at Commissioner's Court today. And he made mention of the fact that through the holiday of Passover, that the whole concept was about being liberated and being free. And there's nothing more that I can say that would better exemplify that we too wish to be liberated from this terrible disease, and that we wish once again to have the freedoms that have been taken from us in order to protect us. And so I would say that this is the most beautiful time of year for so many of us of faith, and that you enjoy the time that you have with your family. We want you to be safe. We want to answer your questions. So I will be available, even though it is Good Friday on Friday. The courthouse will be closed on Friday. I will be answering the phones. I intend to have them sent to my phone so that I can help continue to answer your questions. If the phone lines, if no one's answering, you can still email us at county.attorney@nuesisco.com. But again, the most important thing to know here is that this is in the interest of public health and safety, that we have the authority to do so, and that it's very important for the sake of our community's health that we limit the congregations of people coming from the outside who may think that our beaches are a wonderful place to congregate. And I think by doing these orders, we will do everything we can to continue our mitigation efforts. And although 69 cases seem like a tremendous amount of cases, and they are, I shudder to think what the number would be if we were not practicing these mitigations, and if we were to allow these types of congregations. So please know that it is in this spirit and this effort that we do. I've been given a complete list of parks, and even though they're not listed on the screen, may I read them to you just in the effort of completeness for anyone listening at home. That's Hazel Bazemore Park, Lyondale Baseball Park, Hilltop Park, San Juan, Oscar Ortiz Park, John Sablatura Park, Barber Lane, Sandy Hollow, Lone Oak, Amistad Veterans Memorial Park, that's in Bishop, Bobby Ray and Opal Younce Park, Banquete Park, Lost Creek, 83-Yard Park, and the Fairground Stadium. And I believe that is the entirety of the county parks. Of course, if I missed one, just know that one is also included. But I believe that is a comprehensive list. And I'd be happy to take any questions with regards to these orders. I did sign them in advance of coming to this press briefing, and they have already been filed with the county clerk. So they are official orders, and as I said, they will be posted on our website. As a final, I don't know, Mayor, but I got to thinking, wonder why they called it Easter. You know, I never really thought about it. Do you know? So I looked it up. And Easter is a reference to actually a pre-Christian goddess. You know, I had to love it that I was a woman. So it's a goddess by the name of Estra, and she was the epitome of the veneration of spring. And for me, spring means life. And it was the transition from the winter solstice, the dark time, to that time of light, which is why it got associated with our religion. But what I love most about it is that these orders are restrictive. These orders are almost painful for me. But I can tell you that it's life. The very meaning of the word Easter from the pre-Christian days. There is no greater symbolism than the protection of life, which is what's embodied in these orders. And so I ask you to respect that and to have patience and to wish for spring to come again very, very soon. I know that we can all share in that common goal. So I thank you very much for your patience, and as I said, happy to take any questions.
En resumen, tengo otras órdenes que compartir con ustedes, las cuales van a comenzar el día viernes y terminan el día lunes a las 6 de la mañana, el 13 de abril. Todos los parques del condado también van a cerrar. Se van a colocar barricadas para evitar la entrada de vehículos. Estas órdenes son solo para tener el control de grupos y para evitar un mayor número de contagios y evitar la llegada de personas de otros lugares. Las áreas cerradas también que se cuentan es la playa estatal, Padre Island National Seashore y todos los parques del condado. Continúe practicando el distanciamiento social y evite congregarse en grupo, a menos de que se encuentre con su familia inmediata. Mi esperanza es reabrir los parques el día lunes y que usted pueda disfrutar nuevamente de nuestros parques. Esperamos que disfrute este fin de semana con su familia. La línea de información continúa abierta al número 414-6000 o envíenos un correo electrónico si tiene alguna pregunta.
Okay, that concludes our prepared remarks for today. We're here to answer any questions that you have.
Just to be clear, the closure is for vehicle traffic and citizens or just traffic?
It's focused on vehicular traffic, but we recommend pedestrians adhere to the stay-at-home orders over the weekend.
What kind of enforcement is there going to be, and what person face charges if they're out on the beach without a car?
Yep, so the enforcement will be primarily through the Corpus Christi Police Department. Chief Markle's been part of our work team over the past couple of days. And the penalties include the ones that have been in place with other orders, which includes fines and could be jail time as well. And Judge, I don't know if you want to add something to that.
Yeah, so there's going to be some barricades up, and I will tell you that there's, cameras there. So in the past, we have had some initial problems, with people moving the barricades. That's a terrible thing to do, and shame on you if you do it. And you will get caught, and we're only at 77% occupation in the jail, and I consider moving those barricades tantamount to being completely enforced. Don't ruin it for everybody, because all of us are doing our best. And so I really want to make sure that people understand that those barricades are meant for the purposes of blocking vehicular access. Now, let me pivot to the idea of, what it is that we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to make sure there's not groups of people, on the beach. I want to be honest with you. It's difficult for me, not because I'm having trouble keeping people safe. That's second nature to any mother. What I want to say is that there are some people whose backyard is the beach, right? They live on it. They actually have access. That might be a different scenario. But what I'm going to ask of you as your county judge and as the head of emergency managers, will you help us this weekend? Will you? Will you help so that it doesn't seem like it's open for one and not for another? Could you do that? Because I think that if we can actually pitch in and help one another, and Monday morning we go back to normal, wouldn't that be a good thing to do? Wouldn't that be a wonderful gift to give? Could we complain about it? Sure we could. And it's your right. And if you want to call and yell at me, I have a bunch of kids. It happens all the time. But how about let's just take that spirit of spring and life and just this weekend agree that this would be a good thing to do. It's going to be highly recommended to stay off the beach, but the order is directed at vehicular access because that's what's going to control the crowds. It's what's going to control the out-of-town visitors, and we think that's in our best interest. So I hope that that's an answer that sends a really strong message. Am I going to enforce it? What I'm going to enforce is people messing with those barricades. Don't mess with the barricades. Because we're going to find out, and you are not going to be in good shape, because that's messing with county property and in direct violation of an order which is punishable with not only with a fine but 180 days in jail.
In regards to the numbers,
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I get this right. Yesterday there were 16 community spread cases and 11 person-to-person.
Right.
And today it's listed as the opposite.
It seems like it seems like we just flipped the numbers, but that's coincidence. But what has happened since yesterday is additional tracing reveals that the more accurate numbers today. So as we talk to more of the patients and talk to more people that they came into contact with, there was a change in our position in terms of the categorization of how they caught the virus. So the numbers today are reflective of what we know for the past 24 hours, and those are the most up to date.
Y'all have encouraged the public to follow the CDC recommendations to wear the face mask. Any reason at this point to make something like that mandatory?
Any reason to make it mandatory? Yeah, let me have the judge talk about that. Yeah.
I think the thing to do is always yield to the CDC, right? They're sort of our father figure, if you will, our patriarch in understanding this disease and what the best recommendations are. And despite the fact that they have, changed, they're changing as they get more knowledge. So I think we need to yield to them. They think it's highly recommended when you're in public spaces, so we want to make it highly recommended. But we also don't want to punish somebody if they're going to their doctor or to, a meeting that's one-on-one where they don't have a mask. That's not really in keeping with what I believe is good practice in government. And also, I want to say, and I had a lovely lady contact me today that she doesn't have the ability to sew, and she doesn't have the ability to go out or order a cloth mask. And so, remember, we're asking, something of somebody. But you should be able to govern your life, but be given guidance. And the guidance that you've been given is that it's highly recommended. And why is it recommended? So that you can protect others from you. Right? It's not so that you don't get it. It's so that you protect others from you, from your sneeze, from your cough, from your droplets, even in your breath. And so I think it's really important that we understand that. And that's why I have not issued a mandatory order. And again, I've asked if you want to keep sewing and help keep making those masks. I think they're incredibly valuable. I've used mine today. Many times. And so I think it's a wonderful tool, but I don't expect that it'll be mandatory unless the CDC changes its guidelines, in which case I would follow the experts.
I just want to circle back to the closed to vehicular traffic terminology and just kind of get specific here. If someone were to, say, ride their bike to a park or a beach and be walking, would an officer actually get those people off? Not necessarily ticket them, but actively try to discourage them from doing it. The people, we all should be obeying this order. We know
Right.
that. But
Yeah, I think an officer probably is going to ask you kindly to make sure that you move, keep moving through, right? And they will treat everybody with respect and dignity, but I'm fairly certain that the idea is that we don't want you there because it's too hard to police. And if you literally take all our law enforcement and kind of force us to be babysitters, then that's not a good thing for you as a citizenry. And so I think that our chief of police, boy, can't say enough amazing things about him, but he'll always do what he believes is the right thing to do from a law enforcement standpoint. But I'm asking citizens to allow us to do it this way so that we can protect our resources and give this beach and these parks back to you, the people, on Monday. They're your beaches and they're your parks, but it's our job to safeguard. So I'm going to ask that people just, as they say, keep on moving. There's still lots of wonderful things that you can do. And, so I would say that try to partake in those things that are not closed off, because the places we're closing is specifically so that we don't gather. So people are going to say, can I not have my Easter egg in the park? Well, let me just go ahead and answer so I don't have to, no. The answer is no, you cannot, because otherwise we won't be able to control the activities and the grounds. And I'm all for Easter egg hunt in October. I think we should just declare Easter egg hunts in October right now, cascarones everywhere. I'm ready, but it's just not now.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, well, you did? I'm sorry?
Do we have
The numbers, no, we didn't get a chance to get that updated today. Yeah, the numbers recovered. We'll be working with Annette and her assistant director, Dr. Gonzalez, to hopefully get those by Thursday, Friday. Okay? That was the number. The question was the number of recovered persons out there. So we know that today the 69 persons that have tested positive. It's been 3 weeks now, so some of those persons have recovered. It's a small number, but we'll begin to start tracking that in the next couple of days. As of yesterday, there was 4, and we didn't get the update today in time for this meeting, but yes, yesterday there were 4, several in critical and then 1 recovering, 3 in critical and 1 recovering as of yesterday. That's the numbers in the hospital, just in case somebody didn't hear the question. Okay, so that concludes our press event today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 5. Tomorrow's Thursday, and then Friday we'll probably have 2 press events. We're going to have one probably around 2 o'clock, between 1 and 2, where Texas A&M University professionals from Corpus Christi will be showing the community the curves in terms of expected number of COVID, number of persons that can be infected by the COVID across 12 counties. We want to take the whole coastal bend since Corpus Christi is a hospital servicing location for these other counties, so we're using that whole coastal bend region. And we really, though, want to show why it matters what you're doing right, because you'll see how numbers would have spiked and how deaths would have spiked had we not been doing what we're doing, and why we need to keep doing it until we think it's the right time to stop. So that'll take place Friday here, and then at 5 o'clock we'll probably do a smaller, quicker update briefing just on the numbers. Okay, we'll see you all then. Thank you.